What if I told you that that Diggs practiced today?
Yeah, been waiting to hear how did he look? How were things?
Well,
the visor the pictures looked good.
Yeah, Diggs practiced. He didn't do the team period stuff. He did 7-on-7.
Okay.
So we were kind of waiting for him. I talked to some people in the front office about this. When are you going to put him out there? They were saying, hey, we're going to take our time with this. We're going to try and ramp him up and let him be a part of this. We kind of felt like that maybe the full practice would be a little bit later on. But he did go out there in the 7-on-7 period and competed a little bit. It's kind of, got the movement part of it. He's just kind of feeling his way a little bit, not really trying to do anything, crazy out there. But he was out there practicing. Let's see if he do a little bit more tomorrow, and with the team. But he did not do anything where it was 11-on-11. It was only 7-on-7.
How was the quickness and the change of direction and everything?
You know what,
still there?
Dawson? It was he really. I don't think he cut it loose from what I was. It was like it was pedal and then it was brake and it was move. There wasn't anything like really driving on a ball or trying to not. It's almost like he went out there to say, okay, let me get a feel for what these routes are looking like, or how could I pedal and how quick are these guys getting on me in order to to get an idea of the speed, because that's where it really looked like. I say, it wasn't like, okay, I'm going to carry a guy down the field or I'm going to carry a guy across. It was like, let me just get a little bit of a feel of how the speed of the practice was going to be, because when he went out, Nahshon Wright came in and was playing as that right cornerback. So it was just an opportunity to get him some work in the 7-on-7. He did. Let's see if he'll do a little bit more tomorrow. On the offensive side of the ball, we got Ryan Flournoy practiced for the first time today. And Flournoy is the 6th-round draft pick. We haven't seen him at all in camp. He'd been dealing with a knee injury, but he was a full practice today. Matter of fact, had a couple of different plays, had a nice catch along the sidelines. Guy's got the ability to extend. He's really tall, 6'3". Length is that type of to his game, what he has. But he made a couple of nice plays where he was able to separate, got to the sideline, extend for the ball, and then he was able to make the play. So it was good to see him back out there. When you guys were here, looked like he was destined for the practice squad because he wasn't practicing at all, but had the full pads on today and will probably be ramped up a little bit more depending on if there's any soreness or anything coming out of this practice. But he was able to get it done. Micah Parsons completely wrecked practice today at various times.
Good.
And I say this in a way because of the way that Mike Zimmer, I'm leading into how Zimmer using him. We've always, with Zimmer, we've seen the double A-gap look where it's, 2 linebackers and they play with their tackles a little wider and then they kind of play games off that double A-gap look. Zimmer had Parsons on the field with Kendricks, the linebacker. He's back on the practice field after dealing with a little bit of some back tightness. But Kendricks and Micah, they had Kendricks a little bit tighter to the line of scrimmage, and Micah was backed off. And Micah was they were trying to disguise, okay, is Micah going to shoot that A gap? What's he going to do? Well, he ended up, they dropped Kendricks to Micah's side, and Micah went all the way around. So like a big loop is what he did. Like instead of rushing the A, he went outside C. And so they showed it like, okay, let's probably slide the protection to him.
Yeah.
They slide the protection, but he's able to go tight off the edge and then get into the backfield and do what he did. But he was playing both sides, but Zimmer was moving him around quite a bit today. But when they put him hand down, he was going after Steele pretty good. And then on the other side, though, he was going against Chuma Doga. No Guyton. Once again, he's got some illness. I need to find out if he's coming back tomorrow. But it was a Doga on that side, and it was Awesome Richards, who played pretty well in the blue-white scrimmage on Saturday, Parsons took him to task a little bit today. So that was something that we saw from Parsons, some double-A gap look, some hand down both left and right side, but trying to move him around and be able to find some spots there. Every time they went to short yardage runs today, it was a 4th and 1, Hunter Lipke got the ball.
Okay.
So they lined up with him as a fullback and just every time like handed him the football on those short yardage plays. So good job by him. Nobody really was able to they were able to block that front 4th and 1, and he was able to get the conversion on the fourth down. A little bit of a scary moment today too. Jalen Brooks, they were getting ready to go to team, and he went off the field. We thought something was really wrong with him there. I think he just probably had something in his eye, but he came back out on the field. These receivers overall are doing a pretty darn good job. When you look at Tolbert, Cooks, keep an eye on this kid named Burnett. Dante Burnett is a kid that they brought in that all of a sudden they're throwing him on some special team stuff in practice where they're like, maybe we can see if this guy could be that 6th receiver. But now he's in the competition as well with Billy Johnson, with Cropper. Flournoy, I mentioned, is back. Racy McMahon is back, has been practicing. So they've got a group if they're going to try and figure out receiver potentially 5 and 6. But they've got a good group of guys they're working with. Jake Ferguson, once again, had a really, really nice day catching the football. John Stevens has had a little bit of a struggle being consistent catching the ball, but today he was a lot better with that. Ferguson, they're trying to hit him more, a lot more downfield stuff as we've seen the seam routes. Dak is more willing to throw to Ferguson on those seam routes. And then John Stevens has been a little bit more the underneath of the drag. He's had a little bit of some problems with some drops, but today I felt like he caught the ball well. TJ Bass is a guy that with the offensive line that we're like thinking, well, if they had to plug somebody in to play guard, TJ Bass would be that guy. Wasn't a really good day for him in the one-on-one pass rush drills. He got beat a couple of different times, and I've seen that before with him. That maybe he's taken a little bit of a step back with this offensive line, but there's been more times where guys like Carl Davis, who really doesn't have a lot of pass rush technique, was able to get around him a couple of different times. Head was down, and so keep an eye on TJ Bass as far as the guy. He's supposed to be your swing guard, but he's having a little bit of some struggles right now with that. So. Good day for Wanye Thomas in coverage. Good day for Bland in coverage. Those guys seem to be just fine. The safeties with Jordan Lewis actually as that nickel. Donovan Wilson has done a really good job in some of his coverage. That's what we were looking at today, and he was able to carry some guys. So, and I want to mention one more guy, Willie Harvey, who they got from the UFL at linebacker. He's getting a lot more work with the twos right now. So there's a possibility Willie Harvey, number 55, keep an eye on him as a guy that maybe going forward when they gets down to the final linebacker spot, Willie Harvey is making a real push for that position.
Anything stick out of defensive tackle?
Mozzie had a day where it was a little bit probably 50-50. They were getting on him about the hand placement once again. I know that McCarthy's come out and said that about him, that some things that needs to work on. That clearly that's one of the biggest problems. There was a time where they had a really Zeke had actually an explosive run, and they were able to knock Mozzie out of the hole. Hoffman and Smith were able to drive him out of the hole, and then Zeke just straight shot. So kind of a 50-50 day for Mozzie. They told him, hey, don't hop. And, the next play he didn't hop, but he got a good rush. So, yeah, still trying to kind of make him a little bit more consistent. I think that's the biggest problem with Mozzie right now is he just doesn't have that consistency that you need down in and down out.